Thinking is the most challenging work in the world, which is why so few people do it. Ultimately, those who think for themselves tend to achieve success. You will succeed because you ask for it. Hello, this is Self-Heal 1004. Nowadays, knowledge and information are overflowing. The secrets to getting rich and succeeding, once limited to a few books, are now just a flick of a finger away, revealing thousands of books worth of information. But does simply filling your mind with knowledge and information make you rich? Today, I've decided to take a moment to reflect, drawing insights from the book Toyama Watch and sharing my thoughts with you. One day, I came across an impactful story about an American management consultant that still lingers in my mind. The consultant met a young man struggling to run a small factory in a rural area. The young man felt overwhelmed by daily tasks, was unsure how to grow his factory, and was constantly busy without seeing a future. The consultant offered this advice: write down the tasks you need to do today as they come to mind. Then, rank them by importance and tackle them one by one in that order. Do this every day for 3 years. If you don't see results after 3 years, I won't charge you a single penny for my consulting. The young man diligently followed this advice. Through the repetitive act of writing and crossing off tasks, he achieved remarkable results. 3 years later, he sent the consultant a hefty check and eventually became the president of US Steel, America's leading steel company. I was shocked by this story. The realization that monumental success doesn't stem from complex strategies, flashy business models, or vast capital, but from the effortless habit of writing, prioritizing, and executing, struck me deeply. Inspired, I decided to try it myself. Successful people always take notes, and notes lead to action, a powerful truth I wanted to test in my own life. However, as soon as I tried, I encountered a problem. When is the best time to plan? I was already journaling every night, so I thought I could plan the next day's tasks then, but it consistently failed. After exhausting my energy all day, my tired mind struggled to come up with a plan. At night, my motivation waned, and my thinking dulled. So, I changed my approach. I decided to plan my day first thing in the morning, when my brain is sharpest and most focused, channeling that energy into productive planning. I used a small piece of paper to list the day's tasks. Initially, I had to practice restraint to avoid being overly ambitious, as unrealistic plans lead to disinterest and failure. I listed achievable functions in order of priority, marking completed ones with a check and uncompleted ones with an X. Surprisingly, the psychological pressure of the X marks on a piece of paper that no one else saw drove me to act. I must finish this task became my mindset, and that small piece of paper became a map guiding my day. On nights when I filled every box with a check mark, I went to bed with a deep sense of satisfaction, feeling that I had lived the day well. The schedule became a life chronicle for me, recording my time and helping me remain fully present. With monthly schedules in place, I couldn't let days slip by aimlessly. When I had consecutive days without plans, I felt restless. I craved activity and a busier life. As Benjamin Franklin said, "He who wastes today has no tomorrow." My schedule was a tool that prevented me from squandering the day. Many people take tomorrow for granted, believing that even if they live carelessly today, tomorrow will surely come. But that's a misconception. For those who fail to live today properly, tomorrow is never guaranteed. Tomorrow exists only as an extension of today. Through my schedules, I came to understand this truth deeply. Those who master time master life. It's true, the moment I fail to control my time, time controls me. I end up being dragged into things I don't want to do, spending my day on tasks I dislike. Over time, I'd look back and realize that others' demands and random events had taken over my life. However, with my schedules, I could claim my time as my own. Writing down tasks each morning, prioritizing them, and checking them off one by one made me feel like I was not just living the day but managing it. Perhaps that's why successful people unanimously agree life is about time management. The weapon that turns the impossible into the possible is rigorous time management. So, what about you? Are you merely living today, or are you mastering it? I grew up in the countryside, far from the city's sophistication. In middle school, our principal was a fairly well-known poet, but as rural kids, we had no idea how remarkable that was. During classes, he often said, "When an interesting thought or discovery strikes you, even during a walk, stop and take a note." Back then, note-taking felt distant to me. The first time I saw someone diligently taking notes in daily life was after I started working. A gym teacher, who was also a grade-level coordinator, would scribble in a small notebook during every meeting. At first, I was puzzled. Doesn't focusing so much on writing mean missing the critical stuff? Honestly, I was skeptical. Until then, I found no appeal in the habit of note-taking. But now, I've become a note-taking enthusiast, more than anyone else. Life is unpredictable, and the turning point came when I encountered the writings of Hugh, a philosopher and brilliant literary critic. He was expelled from Cambridge University twice and died young on the battlefield at just 34. Yet, in his short life, his insights and thoughts remain remarkable. He took notes everywhere during discussions, while walking, and whenever a spark of inspiration struck, he'd pull out a piece of paper from his pocket to write. He wasn't just transcribing thoughts, he was capturing the ideas that flashed through his mind. Hugh knew how to turn fleeting inspiration into reality through recording. After his death, the poet and critic Herbert Reed compiled his manuscripts into a book, which I fell in love with, reflecting on humanism and the philosophy of art. People often think that great insights come from a genius's sudden spark. as if inspiration strikes like lightning and instantly leads to theories or inventions. However, most of history's great ideas and inventions began with slight traces of notes. Tacky, for example, Leonardo da Vinci. He left thousands of pages of notebooks filled with designs for flying machines, detailed anatomical drawings, mathematical diagrams, and philosophical reflections. At first glance, they might seem like mere scribbles or notes, but they were his way of capturing the fleeting thoughts in his mind. If Leonardo da Vinci hadn't recorded his thoughts, the genius we admire today might have been half forgotten. The same is true for the philosopher Blaise Pascal, who kept a pen and paper by his bedside to capture sudden inspirations. He understood better than anyone that unrecorded thoughts vanish by morning. Those fragmented notes became pensées, a timeless contribution to human thought. Indeed, thoughts left unrecorded become mere fantasies, whereas capturing them transforms them into assets that can be utilized in the future. Whether it's a business idea, an investment insight, or a single sentence that resonates deeply with life. If you don't write it down the moment it strikes, it will vanish without a trace. The human brain is remarkably creative but equally forgetful. Simply resolving to remember isn't enough, as lost thoughts rarely return. Thoughts are like seeds. If you let them go, they will decay among the weeds. If you plant them on paper, they can take root and eventually bear fruit. A single line written down today could spark a business opportunity years later. A midnight scribble might someday transform lives. Richard Branson once revealed, "The secret to my success in business is simple note-taking." He always carried a small notebook to jot down ideas, and those scribbles contributed significantly to the building of the Virgin Group empire. Right now, it doesn't matter what you record, even a single line will do. Write down your thoughts. Writing by hand channels your mind's ideas into reality with tremendous power. Using a computer works too. What matters is the act of recording itself. The moment you jot down that thought, your journey to success has already begun. In 2012, I came across a news story about a parrot in Kanagawa, Japan, that escaped its cage and astonishingly recited its home address. The police easily found its owner, and the parrot returned home safely. This wasn't an overnight achievement or the result of casual training. It stemmed from relentless repetition. People often assume that only humans can learn and master skills, but that belief is a misconception. Without effort, we risk becoming less capable than that parrot. This story serves as a warning. Think back to your childhood. At first, you knew nothing and mimicked those around you. Gradually, familiarity builds and knowledge accumulates. Knowledge is the result of imitation. Herein lies a key principle. Learning consists of two stages. The first stage is the imitation stage, similar to a parrot mimicking. The second is the creative stage, where you express what you've learned in your own words. Without experiencing both stages, you risk leading a life of mere imitation. Reading books is similar. Many people boast about the knowledge they've gained from reading, and others commend them for being erudite. However, that knowledge isn't truly alive yet. Knowledge that you can't express in your own words is akin to wearing someone else's clothes to impress others. It might be impressive momentarily, but it's never truly yours. Moreover, accumulating knowledge doesn't guarantee personal growth. Sometimes, you must boldly let go of unnecessary expertise to free your imagination, as purposeless knowledge can hinder creativity. But there's no need to worry. Everyone starts clumsily, mimicking like a parrot. The key is to persist through the process without fear. In time, you will discover the moment when you can express your thoughts in your voice. Ultimately, the essence of learning isn't about knowing a lot. Merely knowing a lot doesn't change your life. I've encountered countless individuals who believed that attending a good university or securing a stable job would bring them success and happiness. Cholcheo https storytelling is T-Story, Con 278 Gyogi Pyongwa Sahoewi Anjang Nalawi Baljan Segyewi Doyag Taziatoli. I lived more diligently and sincerely than most. However, as time passed and people reached their 40s and 50s, their reflections became strikingly similar. One financial executive confessed, "Just lived as others told me to." He shared, "For the past 30 years, I worked for the company, believing it would protect me, but when restructuring occurred, I became irrelevant in an instant." Despite being more diligent than anyone else and accumulating vast experience and knowledge, he admitted that he had never truly reflected on his own life. Because he never considered his path, he ultimately found himself swayed by the decisions of others. In contrast, a student I taught chose not to follow the typical route of job preparation. Instead, he wrote daily on his blog, building his online influence. People around him called him reckless, insisting he didn't understand reality. Yet a few years later, he became a writer and speaker with hundreds of thousands of readers. He chose the path he wanted rather than the stable one that others prescribed, leading to a life entirely different from theirs. Those who imitate others merely follow in their footsteps, while those who think for themselves inspire others to follow them. This is the fundamental difference between those who succeed and those who don't. Many people wonder, why do I work so hard yet remain in the same place? The reason is apparent: hard work alone is not enough. Living diligently as others dictate means living someone else's life. Unfortunately, your sincerity may benefit a company's growth, while your efforts become consumed within systems created by others. As a result, no matter how much time passes, your life may not change. To live the life you desire, the most critical skill is the ability to think critically and independently. You must be able to answer for yourself rather than others why you are on this path and what meaning this choice holds for your life. If you can't do this, you risk being labeled as useless by someone else's decisions. Thinking is one of the most challenging tasks in the world, which is why so few people engage in it. Ultimately, those who think for themselves often achieve success. Remember this: those who don't think become tools, whereas those who think for themselves become masters. So, ask yourself, are you a tool, or are you the master of your life? Thank you. This has been Self Heal.